seconds. So Medlen looking to go to his third semifinal this year.
Wow, I mean, Eric did the job, 300ths of a second advantage. He might have been a little bit deep, but still that's a good reaction time, all things considered. And John Medlen gives him the right tune-up to get that thing down the racetrack and run that 489 at over 318 miles per hour.
So we get ready now to spin him over in funny car with Eric Medlen and Tommy Johnson Jr.
Situation where Tommy Johnson Jr. got that lucky break in the previous round when he smoked the tires, and Tony Pardone had his problems off the starting line. We saw the same thing happen to Brandon Bernstein, who smoked the tires against Larry Dixon, was able to get that round win and then come back and get the win to get him in the final. Tommy Johnson Jr. right now is hoping that he can do the exact same thing.
Smoke. Where's TJ? There he is. On the lane situation, Dave Reef, what's going on?
Well, after talking with Jim Oberhofer and then Alan Johnson, they both told me some interesting things. Alan said when Doug went up there and took off and spun the tires so hard, he kind of peeled up the rubber exactly where he was. Well, because of that, he had Tony do a burnout in a different area of the racetrack and then tried to get him to set up in there as well. But it was in Doug's track a little bit. He subsequently peeled up some of that rubber a little bit too. He said there's not a lot up there to begin with, but he peeled it away too. So I'm interested to see, Mike, how these funny cars will do now in the right lane on what, might be a little bit of a ball race surface.
Yeah, it's the same situation. A fuel funny car is going to react the same way when they peel that rubber off and you get that bald spot. They're trying to control that wheel speed, and if there's not enough rubber there, it actually gets that tire spin a little bit too fast, and then it drives up into tire smoke.
Here's our funny car ladder presented by Lucas Oil. Eric Medlen has the lane choice in this one. Robert Hight in the next one over with Bazemore. Eric Medlen is going to his second final this year, the fourth of his career. 4.93 seconds at 3:03. You saw Tommy Johnson go up in tire smoke.
Eric Medlen did not have the problem on the starting line that we saw with the top fuel teams. That thing was hooked up off the start, but then as it went down track, it looks like, if you watch, it starts to drift over towards the center. Right there, it's stuck in the groove, but then it makes that little bobble just past 300-foot mark, and right there, he's got one tire completely out of the groove. It's amazing he didn't smoke the tires. I'm sure he got into some tire spin. Tommy Johnson Jr. right there, that thing spun the tires early, and his day was pretty much done, but Eric did a good job to keep that thing off the center line and get it in the final round.
As you can see,
like I said, Jimmy Proc's doing a tremendous job running that 490 at over 314 miles per hour to get him into the final round.
Eric congratulates Robert. Robert stretches his points lead to 84 over John, 94 over Gary Scelzi. Here's the final matchup in funny car. Robert Hight has the lane choice by 3/100ths of a second. And let's go to Gary.
Eric, I want to ask you about your run in 93, and it was drifting toward the center line, got out of the groove. Were you aware of that?
Yeah, you are, but it's rattling down there a little bit, and it tries to move around on this track. The groove's a little bit narrower over there, but we think the lane's a little better, so we stuck over there, and it just moves around. It gets out of the groove. It's hard to get it back. You got it cranked over, and it's kind of going wherever she's going. Just hope that Ford Oval leads you in the right direction and that wind light comes on. That's all we're asking.
Well, let's get a quick word with Robert as well. You're going to go against your teammate, and you've got an opportunity here that's a golden one because you're already starting to stretch a championship lead.
Unbelievable. I guess I need to dream bigger because I never dreamed we'd even be in the points lead. But we can't lose here. We're going to go up here and have some fun racing Eric for Auto Club, Castrol, Ford. We're all represented. We're just going to go up and have fun and see who wins.
And we're going to have fun watching.
Thank you.
Oh, it's a great race, and Eric Medlen gets the win, 4.88 seconds.
How about Eric Medlen? We talked about him struggling all year up to this point, and he has been, but he had really looked very good this weekend. Did his job in the final round, got about almost 100th of a second advantage over Robert Hight, and stuck that thing down the middle. You saw Robert get a little bit loose in the middle of the racetrack. That allowed Eric to to get by for the win. There you see it, Eric. Slide advantage off starting line right there. Robert moved over towards the center line, got it a little bit loose. That allowed Eric Medlen to pull away for the win. He was going 254 miles per hour at the 8th to 250 for Robert, and that was the difference. That carried through to the finish.
Eric's second career win. His other one came at Brainerd last year, and he moves into 6th place in the points ahead of Whit Bazemore, and he gets around Cruz Pedregon as well. Into the far end to Gary.
And Eric, there's been a lot of frustration in the last few events, not able to get out of the first round. What was the difference today that gets you into the final in your second career win?
Well, I don't know really if we approached the race any different, Gary. Just a whole lot of effort by all these guys. You know, we got a lot of heart, we got a lot of guys, but most of all, we got a lot of help from Robert Hight's team with the AAA car, and John too. You know, he puts together a fabulous crew, and that's the key. You know, picking all the right guys. But we got some great money over here. Castrol Syntec, man, everybody. I don't even know who to thank. Mike DiBiase's back there at Castrol. I think he's maybe collecting his chips. They always bet on us.
And we're about to hear from the boss, John Forrest. Dave?
John, in 96, you brought out Tony Pedregon. You said you hired your own assassin, and now you've got the next generation, another John Forrest creation.
Well, I'm real proud of Eric and Robert and Jimmy and John Medlen. They're doing their jobs. They stretched the lead. Eric got himself another win, and he needed that for morale boost. That whole team with Syntec needed it. So God bless both of them. They're doing their job.
John Medlen, I'm curious about this day. We had talked earlier about the weight reduction program this car had been on over the past week. How much impact did that have on performance today in your mind?
Well, I think it's a kind of a compound issue. We worked on the car real hard from Denver to here, trying to get weight off it. We just kind of scrutinized every part, but I think as much as that, it was the mindset about getting very, very serious about the car and not letting anything go to chance or leaving anything unturned. I think that's what made the difference here.
From a father's standpoint, what kind of feeling do you have when you see your son right off your shoulder up here on the victory stand with a Wally in his hand?
Oh, that's hard to explain. It just doesn't get any better than that. You want everything you can for your children, but when you can share all that with them, it's unexplainable. That's why we do all this. That's why we work so hard.
Job well done. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's my wife's birthday yesterday. This one's for you.
All right, happy birthday. Let's take a quick look at the points. Despite the loss in the final, Robert Hight opens up an 84-point lead over John. Gary Scelzi is 95 back, and Eric Medlen moves into the 6th spot.